We got this tweet from Elon Musk. It's a video from Western Lensman. He says, this is actually happening. I'm going to play the video for you now, and then we'll talk about what they said. Is it going to play? X videos always do this. After a little while, the videos just don't play. You got to refresh.
Borders plan to entrench single party. The Democrat open borders plan to entrench single party rule, explained in under 2 minutes. 1. Flood the country with untold millions of illegals by land, sea, and air from all over the world. Enough to eclipse the populations of 36 individual U.S. states so far. 2. Prioritize the needs of these millions of non-citizens over the needs of the American citizen, with free flights, buses, hotels, meals, and phones, ensuring their loyalty to the political party that imported them. 3. Keep them in the country at all costs, even when they commit violent crime like murder and rape. Attack the language used to describe the criminals, as opposed to the criminals themselves. Slander critics as racist. 4. Ensure their privileges are made irrevocable with city and state sanctuary laws that act as population magnets. Codify permanent status and ensure non-cooperation with ICE. 5. Count the non-citizens in the census that will determine congressional apportionment in the House of Representatives.
Yes.
As of now, that would equal 13 extra congressional districts, a tremendous amount of electoral power. 6. Wage a massive, heavily funded lawfare campaign to change state voting laws that legalize mass mail-in ballots, no signature verification, and no proof of citizenship requirements, making it nearly impossible to prove voter fraud. 7. Lock in the permanent voting majority with campaign promises of lavish benefits and permanent privileges, enshrining generational fealty to the Democrat Party. 8. Win elections. 9. Entrenched single-party rule has been achieved. The best part? Your tax dollars are paying for it.
The only part that really matters
opposed to the criminals
is
themselves.
This.
Slander critics
Not
as
this
racist.
Part.
4. Ensure their privileges are made
Number 5, I think.
with city and state sanctuary laws that act as population magnets.
Who made this? Because this is
Codify
amazing.
permanent status and
One
ensure
second. I wanna play this one more
non-cooperation
time.
with ICE. 5. Count the non-citizens in the census that will determine congressional apportionment in the House of Representatives. As of now, that would equal 13 extra congressional districts.
13 extra congressional districts, and those are old numbers. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Western Lensman made the video. It was a couple of years ago. It was estimated that there were 10.1 million criminal aliens living in the United States, which would give you just about 13 congressional seats. However, the estimates are much higher now with Biden allowing in millions more. So it could be as high as 17. Democrats have a 17-seat advantage based on spreading out criminal aliens throughout their districts to give themselves extra seats. So if you're wondering why it seems like there should be a red wave, everyone I know has got Trump signs. All of the sentiment of all the people in all the communities, it's leaning Trump. The polls say Trump, but somehow Democrats keep getting it. It's because they have extra congressional seats.
Yep.
And they're only going to get more.
One, just an amazing video to highlight the agenda there. But also, I wanted to add one thing. I don't know if this was included in there, but also allowing them to vote. Many people don't know that illegals can actually vote in the United States in some cities.
Yeah.
They can't. Just in last December, New York City voted to allow.
They lost that. Courts overturned that one.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
I was going to say, because Maryland and Vermont, there's cities in Maryland and Vermont that do allow
And
it.
California.
Yeah.
These are local elections.
These are local elections, but we're still talking about, I mean, this is
but
important stuff happens.
And these are the steps they're trying to take to get to the point where they're going to get them to vote. And they're going to make the argument. They're going to try and equate being undocumented to being a slave. They're going to say there are undocumented citizens in this country who, because they don't have the proper paperwork, are being denied their voice in their own communities. How could that be allowed? It's like slavery. That's the game they're going to play. 13 extra seats.
It's also the same argument because people are like, oh, well, it's just city elections. Well, first of all, a lot of important things are decided on a city and local level. But second of all, the same basically argument is just going to be made for congressional elections as well as presidential elections. The same thing will be made. They're not going to change the argument at all. They're just going to move forward.
Local elections are more important.
Right.
And they're already making the argument that these are people who live in our communities who should have a say in how things are done at the local level. We get it, not at the federal level, but locally. No.
The federal, the fact that the point that they make in there about the apportionment and about congressional seats, that's the most important thing that the average person probably doesn't occur to the average person. And that's the point that I think we really should drive home when it comes to the immigration question or the conversation about immigration and what the effects are. driving home the fact that these people are counted in the census. And the argument, the argument that they're going to give, they're going to say, no, they don't get counted in the census. People that are here undocumented, they don't come out and admit it, which is horseshit. They do because the people that go and do the census, they don't talk about whether or not there are citizens. All they say is the only thing we want to know is how many people live there. And the people that are undocumented, they're generally informed by the people that are there to do the census. Hey, we're not going to turn you into ICE. They're not there to scare these people. So the major argument that the left gives you is, oh, no, they don't do that. They won't talk to the government. That's horseshit. So first of all, and second of all, this is exactly like they said. This is what is going to be used to give basically one party all political power.
And
don't forget, congressional seats are electoral college votes.
Yeah. I also want to add one thing. If you're having that conversation with a leftist, they actually don't care about that argument at all.
No, you have to be able.
It has to be someone that's like that. They know that they don't have a problem with it. They want them to vote. They want them to all sorts of stuff.
I'm not talking about
the general.
Because we're not trying to convince leftists.
Right.
Leftists are not going to be convinced.
It's the independents.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to convince your average Democrat that is a liberal that they have been conned by progressives and communists. They need to understand that there is a cultural revolution going on in the United States currently, right now. That's why things like the Pride Progress flag have taken the place of, have taken the place of other flags that used to represent our history and stuff like that.
Frederick, Maryland flies the Pride flag on their City Hall.
Constantly, those things are being held up in churches and stuff like that across the country. It is a cultural revolution that is happening in this country, and we need to do everything we can to stop it.
My neighbor flies a Pride flag out all of June, so I put up
Betsy Ross, right?
I do have the Betsy Ross normally, but in Pride Month I put up a straight Pride flag just to piss them off. They're not real happy about it.
We're gonna put up in our Casper locations Molon Labe, Gonzalez flag, Gadsden flag. I get the straight pride thing, but I'm like, the Gadsden flag is an American symbol of independence, liberty, personal responsibility, etc.
That's smart because the straight pride flag is a response to them. Ignore them.
It's more of a troll. It's more of a troll. Yeah, it's not like nobody's seriously flying that flag.
Normal people don't even know what it is.
I'm not judging.
And that's the problem.
Normal people don't even know what that is.
And that's the problem. We need to create a cultural sphere of influence, not flick people off. And people, they walk by and say, I wonder why she's flicking them off. Whatever. You put up a Gadsden flag and they're like, oh, it's one of those.
Yeah, my thing is that I want to make them as uncomfortable as they've made us for so long.
No, but they like it.
They don't. My neighbors hate it. They refuse to talk to me. They run inside their house every time they see me. I love it. I hope they move.
Their arena. We don't want to go into their arena. Republicans need to stop being like Democrats. Can I please play with you?
Yep.
No, I just really like
this. This is why everything we invest in is cultural endeavors, because as that quote goes, Republicans care more about the opinion of the New York Times than of their own constituents. Republicans only ever respond to the narrative of the left.
Yep.
That's a huge mistake. That's all it is.
That's what's such a good thing about the bloodbath stuff.
Hey,
that's what's the bloodbath thing is the right has totally ignored the way that the left is framing it, the way that the media is framing it, and they've grabbed it, taken it, and laughed hysterically and memed it and made jokes about it. And what they're doing by doing that is making culture. They're not responding to the left. They're saying, no, this is ours right now. We're taking this. We're not letting that happen.
I think a little bit of both is important. I think trolling kind of makes you a little bit more like almost personable and it's more fun and they're having fun. But I do 100% agree. The right absolutely needs to be taking
setting the narrative.
But there is a psyop thing to it. So it encourages other people to not be afraid to speak out. So for example, James had been at my house and he noticed that my Wi-Fi is Trump. Well, I think it's still Trump 2020 or 2024. And he noticed that somebody else had changed their Wi-Fi password to Trump people are in a cult because of mine. So then I changed it to long live Clarence Thomas or whatever. We were having these Wi-Fi wars. Well, other people around started putting pro-Trump, whatever. But it doesn't matter if it's anonymous. It makes those people feel like they're outnumbered because they are. It makes them feel as uncomfortable as they have made us feel forever.
My point is putting up a giant I love Clarence Thomas is not something as esoteric as a straight pride flag.
That's really just to piss off my neighbor.
Right.
Sure. My thing is, the New York Times says jump, and all of the conservative personalities say how high.
Yep. 100%.
I don't.
That's why it's so good the way that the right has responded about the bloodbath thing, and that is something that people on the right need to pay attention to in the future. Stop letting the left jerk your attention around. Be in control of your own.
You saying it was a good thing or a bad thing?
And for that matter,
it's a good thing that the bloodbath thing was taken by the right.
We talked about this on the members show, the TikTok bill for the divestiture bill.
Yes.
You know, we were having a minor debate over the issue again, and I said the issue people are arguing is not the bill; it's bills in general. That their complaint is that government can construe a bill to give themselves privileges the bill didn't intend. In which case, don't pass any bills. I then went to Congress.gov and I looked up a whole bunch of bills, and I'm like, why are we talking about TikTok? There's a whole bunch of crazy ass bills right now that would give the president powers over like oil distribution, food distribution. There's one that would give bureaucrats the power to like shut down farms and suspend food production,
which you're already doing anyway. Look
but the
at
media comes out and yells TikTok. TikTok sends a notification to their users, and the only thing we talk about is TikTok. And I'm like, there's like a lot of bills that no one ever looks at and looks into that would create circuitous methods of extreme control from bureaucrats and the president.
A lot of them don't make it to the floor. They are introduced, but it is good to know like what these members are thinking and where they want the power to go, and to be cautious of that for 100%. Sure. But you're right. And nobody's reading like Punchbowl and Politico in the morning to see what the House is up to every day. They're just not doing that. They're reading the New York Times.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.